Hello everyone. It's taken me a minute to make this video because something I realized is that when court dates are coming up or something big is coming up or I just uncovered something new that is major, these people that are involved in trying to shut me down, drain me, exploit me, take my assets, and hurt me, kind of go in really hard around those times. And there's definitely a pattern, and it's a lot on me emotionally to deal with. And I have found out a significant new amount of information, and I definitely have wanted to share it with those that it would be helpful to. And I apologize that it's taken me so long to get on here. I'm sure you all will excuse me, but it's just been crazy. I'll just give you a little highlight. I was hit with just a pathetic form of a court action as I dismissed my complaint or my motion for contempt, because before that I didn't know what the rules of the court were. So now that I'm more familiar and I'm becoming more familiar with my opportunities and what possibilities there are to proceed with, I dismissed that and took a moment to really reflect and to try to just be open to getting new information. And I've definitely obtained some new information. I've been working on familiarizing myself with counterintelligence, countersurveillance. If law enforcement isn't going to help me protect myself from someone tracking me down, hunting me down like an animal, harming me, draining me financially, taking my children, harming my daughters, and doing everything possible to harm me and to try to kill me, and they're not going to do anything about it. Obviously, as a woman with no protection and no man to come in and step in and be like, that's it, you can't do this anymore, I have to protect myself. Like many of you, I'm sure, after having all of your relationships triangulated and destroyed by an abuser who wanted to see you dominated. So I've definitely learned a lot recently. It was, something I want to mention that is kind of like a jab. I called Greensboro Police Department on August the 2nd because I went to West Virginia on August the 1st to pay respects to where my brother was murdered by the police. And someone tried to harm me there. I was followed the whole time, hunted. Like, I felt like I was just like a target. It just was like unreal, like always. I guess it was supposed to be unreal, so when I reported, it just reinforces that I'm crazy, right? So when I reported this and they started brushing me off like I was, ma'am, do you have a mental health program? Do you have a therapist? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you grounded in reality, or is this just your everyday misogyny? I mean, so they did nothing. They didn't follow procedure or the laws. And then I got a call from Mental Health Board of Greensboro after 10 years of 911 calls and dozens of crimes committed against me in numerous divisions of what you can consider crime. They ask if I need some mental health assistance. I think y'all need some mental health assistance. I think you need some training, and don't be surprised when, like the agencies that get the VAWA funding, which I believe the law enforcement divisions do, your COPS funding gets taken, your Burn JAG funding gets taken, because I'm coming for that next. You want to continue to play games with my children and my life. For what? Anti-miscegenation? Because I'm white? Because I have biracial children? It feels like that if it's just not outright misogyny. But in my case, the case is a little bit more severe, so I would consider anti-miscegenation. And I've done some studying, and apparently Forsyth County has a strong history of opposing interracial relationships. And I am in the hotbed of the civil rights movement, Greensboro, North Carolina. And I don't think that is a coincidence. I believe that God put me right here for a reason. And when it comes to all of these people and all of these individuals involved, whether it be officially in a capacity of official or non-official capacity, I think that this is obviously going to make some kind of an impact. My story and the story of other mothers. I found so far 5 other mothers, white women in North Carolina, that have suffered some of the same egregious travesties. And I think it's class action federal court time, honestly. If not just for the women in general, for the women like me. It seems that the most violent of crimes have been committed against us, and there has been no protection and no help. And I am blessed and thankful to be alive right now. I don't want to get too much into personal things in this video, but the understanding that this abusive man, a black man, was able to exploit and dominate, take over a life of a white woman, portray her in such a way that he was able to capitalize upon her daughters. My now 19-year-old daughter, from the age of 9, watched this man brutalize me. He sent me to prison. He made sure I couldn't leave. He drained my assets, and he's still doing it. Now he gets to use my children to do it. I don't know how long he's been engaging in this highly inappropriate relationship with my teenage daughter, but she has been the center of destroying every single relationship and family relationship I have ever had. In addition to stealing my identity, he's got her committing felonies, committing fraud, trying to take my money. And it all comes back to him. He uses and abuses people. He has an attraction to young girls. Yet he has my 2 little girls. No problem, right? I think that's a problem. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to get too much into my own personal story. I just got a recording tonight from Mike Volpe from the hearing with Judge Miller a couple weeks ago with another mother. When I stepped in there, the tone changed and he declared a mistrial. What he deleted off of that audio was me asserting Article 1, Rule 18 of the North Carolina Constitution for the public's right to be present for civil proceedings. His response to me was, this hearing is ending in 30 seconds, so I'm not violating your rights. But I left that off of the recording for some reason. I have some more discs for other hearings, but I've had a little bit of an issue converting them to a playable form. So what I want to talk about this evening really is counter-surveillance. This video is for all these moms out here who are being stalked, tracked, communications interfered with. You're not getting your phone calls. People are portraying you. They're taking your information, and it's not just about stopping you from speaking to people or stopping a message from getting out or censoring you. It's about making sure that you cannot go on, making sure you can't have happiness and joy, making sure that you can't have relationships, that people don't like you, that you don't have a following, that you can't move on and do well after that. That's the point. So I have found some ways for us to curtail these stalking obsessors, the ones that seem to not be able to get enough of us, and no matter how harmful it may be. So something first that I discovered is something called a Faraday bag. The Faraday bag is something used by law enforcement and military, and it's a fabric that basically prevents any transmission of signals. So it is going to protect your data and prevent any kind of interference from taking your data. Another thing is a microphone blocker, and you can get this off of Amazon. So you can just plug into your iPhone, plug it into your Android. It's going to stop any signal from emitting audio outside of your device. You're still going to be able to hear everything on your phone, but nobody else can. Another thing is a VPN. That is going to prevent the censorship. That is going to prevent somebody tracking your IP address. And ExpressVPN is good. Another thing is to not use Safari as a browser or Google. You're going to want to use DuckDuckGo, something encrypted. For your messaging app, you're going to want to use Signal, encrypted end-to-end and endorsed by Edward Snowden and Elon Musk. Both users must have this app. You're going to put App Lock with your biometrics, with your fingerprint on all apps. Going to disable Siri on all iPhone devices on every single app. You're going to make sure that your notifications are giving you notifications. Another thing you can do is a GPS signal blocker. So you can order this within, you can find it on Google, you can find it on Amazon. There's more on Google than are on Amazon because a lot of it is illegal as far as jamming that kind of signal. But for your own personal vehicle, you can plug this into your car, your cigarette lighter, and it's going to block any location transmission from your vehicle from coming out of it. So nobody's going to be able to know where you're going if you stick this in. Another thing is basically getting cameras and having cameras so you can have evidence. And it seems like something that, they can hack into. It's going to be annoying, get it in your car, front and back. It's going to be off of a Wi-Fi that's connected to a VPN. Cover that with a Faraday bag. Nobody can get your information. You're going to stop that from coming out of that. So I don't know if, most of y'all may have seen my vehicle, and a law enforcement officer friend got me a device that tracks bugs and detects any kind of GPS or CDMA signals. I found that, but there's another device that can jam my device. So if somebody wants to come around and stop me or stop someone else from helping me, they can come with their device. Those devices are about $300 to $800 and block my signal. Same thing goes for phones, for computers and things like that. Now, there are also USB blockers for your data, and that's so your data is secure on any kind of connectivity that you have, and that is important. Another thing that is helpful is a password generator, a password keeper. You're not going to want to use just like, regular old passwords. You're going to want something that is encrypted. A cryptical password is of utmost importance. Another thing that I have found is that with the apps, it's like there's an algorithm to it with the Wi-Fi, with the IP addresses. You're going to want to make sure that you are unlogged or are logged out of all devices. There is no authorized logins. You're going to want to really change your security keys if they're available on Facebook. Change those up. Also to clear all your data that you have stored in your phone, to do a hard reset, to do a reset on your network and your privacy preferences. There's a lot more to do. And these are just basics, but there's so many moms out here that just have no idea. They're being completely controlled. They don't know why nobody's calling. They don't know why people are talking to them or treating them differently, because somebody's portraying you and making you sound like a monster. between the slander and the false portrayals and the theft of the evidence, what are you left with? You don't have any law enforcement helping you, so it's up to you. All I can say is become armed and dangerous with knowledge. That's the only way they can't stop you. And it's been really, really hard for me lately, emotionally, because people tried to literally kill me, and the police officers chuckle. They laugh. They think this shit is a joke. Pardon my language. Do you want to talk about the 6 and 7 figures that they're trying to take from me? No? Maybe the FBI does. I think they do. Or the judge that violates all these rights of these litigants and destroys children's lives. For what? Funding. Maybe a investment in a speedboat company. I don't know. The fact is, we're in the age of information. And for me, that meant I have access to finding out what's really going on. And I found out I am an investigator. That's something that I am talented at, finding things out. And I have found a lot out, obviously. No matter how many people try to come and exploit my knowledge, or their jealousy, or their malicious behavior, or their insecurity of themselves to want to degrade me or quiet me, or their disappointment that I'm thriving. God has plans. God has plans, and you can't stop that. Things have to change. This isn't happening for no reason. And this barbarity, this treasonous, this malicious malice, this cruelty going on, this depraved indifference of these officials, like, really? At a certain point in our society, we became humanity deprived, or like, I don't know. I see so much more. And the Willie Lynch indoctrination, I think, has gone on far enough. I think the control of the slave traders over diversity and ethnicity in this colonized kind of dictation of our joy and happiness has gone on long enough. I've had it. My best advice is to ground yourself and separate yourself from the feelings. Arm yourself with knowledge. Read the rules of the court. Read the statutes, the code, the law of your state. Know what they can and cannot do and assert your rights. Know your constitution of your state and your country. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't get loud in the most graceful way. Anyway, that's just a little bit I have to give tonight. I definitely have a lot more to say. So, y'all have a good night. Peace.